Alright, it's 1 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Mayor Joe Reagan, would you lead us in prayer?
I will. So I'll pray. Our Heavenly Father, we humbly come before your throne of grace at this time, Lord, thanking you for all the many wonderful blessings you've given us all. Thank you, Lord, for this day that you blessed us with. Thank you for your love, your Son Jesus, our Savior. It's his sacrifice that he made on the cross for the Lord, for all of us, that we have that hope of eternal life. Be with us as we endeavor to make decisions for our communities. Lord, help us that we would look to you for guidance in all things that we do, Lord, to help us that we would be able to do the things and make decisions that would be better for our citizens, be your will, but always pleasing to you, Lord. Look down upon all those that are sick around our communities, Lord, if it be your will. We thank you for those who've given their health back to them. Pray for our military, our law enforcement, our emergency services, Lord, that you would keep them in the hollow of your hand of safety and keep them out of harm's way, if it be your will. Please watch over us and keep us safe as we go through this service, Father. Forgive us for our sins. In Christ's holy name we humbly pray. Your Son and our Savior. Amen.
Join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Ms. Sherry, would you do us a roll call, please?
Craig Mitchell,
Here.
Stan Hollingsworth, Dale Reagan,
Here.
Luke Collins, Alan Foster, R.J. Crawford, Matt Adcock,
Here.
Josh Miller, Jimmy Johnson,
Here.
Harvey Stowers, Jim Morgan,
Here.
Lloyd Williams,
Here.
Steve Jones,
Here.
Tony Day,
Here.
Stephen Barlow, Lori Burnett, Stephen Gilbert,
Here.
Sam Gibson, Randy Porter,
Here.
Lauren Whedon, Jeff Mason,
Here.
John Potts, David Sullivan,
Here.
Elisa Farmer, Terry Bell, Rob Chastain,
Roxy.
Denny Robinson,
Here.
Jerry Lowry,
Here.
Alejandra Cisneros Monahan, Representative Cameron Sexton, and Senator Baker.
Do we have any public comment at this time? All right, seeing none, just so everybody's aware, we appreciate you coming out today and being a part of these meetings today, and in respect of your time, this is a joint meeting of the Upcoming Development District and the Upcoming Human Resources Agency, so they will, both businesses will be mixed in throughout the day in our various items, so just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, and thank you for doing it, Mark. Item number 4 is the approval of the consent agenda. There's your items of consent. At this time, I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion Mayor Matt Adcock. Second Mayor Jerry Lowry. I have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. Any questions or discussions on it? Mark, do you have anything to add on that? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Item number 5, County VRC lead. Ms. Jody Whip. Ms. Jody Whip. Oh, she is. Hi, stranger. Welcome back.
Megan is going to give out some sheets, but I won't take just a minute. Good to see everyone. So I've worked with the BD for a few years for the Tennessee Small Business Development Center, but the role that I'm going to talk to you about today is with a program. I'm the program director for the Business Resource Collective, or the BRC. And this is something that Mark Farley and a few others worked on during COVID. The top sheet that you have here just kind of explains what the BRC is and what it does for your community. So it was basically designed to be a no wrong door approach for business assistance. We know that all of the businesses in our communities need help, and sometimes it's confusing as to where to send them. And I'm sure that you all are getting calls to your offices about people who are starting businesses or might need capital for their business, business loans, or just some sort of technical assistance. So the BRC is effectively a partnership between entrepreneurial support organizations. So we have 3 partners. Those are listed at the bottom. We have the Tennessee Tech Center for Rural Innovation, that's under Dr. Michael Akins, and a lot of you are familiar with him. The Small Business Development Center, which is a program of the development district, and then the Biz Foundry, which is our local entrepreneurial incubator and co-working space. And so you'll see some of the services that we help with. All of these services are free for the businesses in your community. So the partners do not charge for anything, except maybe if they enlist in some sort of specialized training program like a boot camp. But you'll see some of those services there. So that's kind of what the BRC does. One thing that was really important for Mr. Farley was to have an easy way for you all to get people the help that they need. And so what he has brought to the table for us to tackle as an initiative for 2026, if you'll look at page 2, we would like to offer to put a hyperlink on your city or county or municipality website that will direct people straight over to the BRC for assistance. And so the way that we'll do that, it kind of maxed it out. So we have a team of website development interns from Tennessee Tech University that are managed through the Center for Rural Innovation, and they work on businesses for different tourism initiatives, but also for small businesses in the community. But this kind of maps out what we'd like to do is grant them temporary access from an administrator, or if you have an administrator or a website, a webmaster, we can just give them the link and they can do that. And then once that link is on your site, we would take the permission back off so that they're not on there any longer than just to link that site. Or like I said, if you have a webmaster in your city or county, we can just provide them with the link. But that makes it really easy for you guys when you get those calls, or your staff gets those calls, to just say, hey, there's a link on our website that will take you straight over to a great resource. We also have information on that site about training programs and links to different chambers and some things like that. And then lastly, just to finish up, on this last page, these are just our numbers for 2025 through December 1. So you can see the impact that we're having as a collective program of these entrepreneurial support organizations. But the numbers are huge. And so we're able to reach a lot of businesses in the different communities through this model. And we do work with businesses all through all 14 counties. And again, all of these resources are free for your business owners.
And I would say this is just the first step, obviously, to get that link on a county or a city website. You know, it doesn't have to stop there. So obviously, we would love to see your chambers of commerce or any other groups that you have that are business related. It may be some of your banking partners would be interested as well. So it's a way of getting the word out of what the services are. And, you know, the biggest thing we deal with all the time is, you know, people just don't know what we do sometimes. And it's how do we advertise that, how do we get that word out? So this is what we're trying to do there.
If you have any questions about the process or the business resource collective or the partners, my email is at the bottom of page 2, and I'd be happy to chat with you.
So are you going to be following up individually? How will that go from here?
Yes, I'll follow up with all the attendees here, and then whoever else is on your list individually. We plan to start this program or this project in 2026. So it'll be after the end of the year. I'm not going to ask you to do anything before the end of the year. So in 2026, you'll be hearing from us.
So in other words, to get it on our website, in my office, have Tara maybe to reach out and get a hold of you or something like that?
Yeah, just whoever has access, administrative access to your website, and if maybe that's challenging or you're not sure of how to access it, we can even come to you.
Okay.
We'll just need to get that scheduled.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is our CSBG update from them.
Hi there, good afternoon, everyone. So a couple of topics, time to talk about just the Whistleblower Protection Act. That's a copy of that is in your packet. That's something that the Community Services Block Grant wants us to just give you a copy of on an annual basis. So we've taken care of that. They also want us on an annual basis, just to remind you guys, that we do utilize ROMA, which is Results-Oriented Management and Accountability. So that's why I'm before you at every board meeting, talking about our programs and our services and our numbers, and letting you know if we're changing programs or if we found new gaps that we need to fill. So there's just a flow chart that kind of shows how we're constantly reviewing our data and looking at that. We're not just running a program and then filing that away. We're constantly looking at everything. And in your packet, you will see dashboards for the last few months. You will also see an overview of October through September, since we run on the federal fiscal year. But what I really wanted to highlight this afternoon was each year I look to see what measures I've been measuring, and looking to see if I want to change those or if they need to be changed. And so we have taken off, going for October forward, we've taken off the weatherization applications that was on here, and we have added general assistance and CSBG services. And we're really interested in tracking those numbers. General assistance is for things that are outside, not specific programs we have. Maybe we're referring them to other programs. Maybe we have food pantries or different things that's not one of our state or federal funded. So very pleased with those numbers. And in our CSBG, those would be approved services that we could assist with, that maybe we don't have a specific program, but for example, the two in October were for folks that filled out applications for other programs. The individuals did not understand how to fill out those applications. They wouldn't have received the help if someone didn't assist them. So we did that even though it wasn't a program ran through our agency. So we will continue in 2026, just running our programs, continuing to look to see if we're meeting the needs or if there's other things that we need to look at. Want to give you just a very brief update. We did start House Call, which is a repair program for those 60 and over. Right now, it's fee-based. Right now, we're not really holding to that 60 if someone's calling us and needing repairs. But we're very excited about this program, and I can't wait to talk to you about it in 2026 as we grow the program. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right, thank you guys so much.
All right, we'll move on to item number 7, our action items. We have a pretty good list of those, and some of those are different, so we will go through these one at a time. Starting with the audit. If we have our auditors here, will come and present the audit for us.
Let me, for some of you that may be new, while they're coming up, I'll give you just a quick overview. You see there are 4 different audits that they have prepared today. The first one is listed, I think, the Development District, and the second 2 are Cumberland Regional Development Corporation. It's a nonprofit that runs our housing and other programs. It's underneath the Development District, and we also have a revolving loan fund through CAIC, which is another component unit. So we independently audit those 2 nonprofits, but then they are rolled into the Development District audit as a whole. So, and then the last one would be the Human Resource Agency. Derek?
Thank you, Mark. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Derek Young. I'm a audit partner with Johnson Hickey Murkison, and we're a CPA firm based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this is Curtis Payne. He's a senior audit manager who's been on site working on all 4 of the audits. So, like Mark said, we'll be presenting 4 audits, and I'm going to go over essentially all 4 of them at one time, from the standpoint of the reports and what we issued, and if there were any findings and those types of things. And then if anybody has any questions as far as any details, as far as any numbers or anything like that, I'll let you direct those to Curtis, since he's the one that was on site and has delved a lot deeper into the numbers. But there's certain things that we have to do as auditors, and one of those things relates to communications. We provide certain, and it's a 2-phase type thing. It happens in 2 stages. The first round of communications are included in our engagement letter that we provide at the beginning of the audit, which starts usually about the last week of July. And then we do all of our work, and then over the next 3 to 4 months, and then there's certain other communications that we have to communicate at the conclusion of the audit, which are the things I'm going to talk about today. And I will provide a copy of the letter when we provide the final printed bound copies. But essentially, the letter it's broken into various sections, and all 4 entities have the same letter, and it's the same type of points. And some of the biggest things included in there, it talks about accounting, the significant accounting policies, and those are the items when you look at your financial statements, those are in the footnotes in note 1. And those are the most significant accounting policies that you provide to the users. Those include items such as your method of depreciation, your policies for revenue recognition, what's deemed cash and cash equivalents, and your method of accounting, whether the basis of accounting, and those types of things. And this year we did have a new accounting policy that we did have to adopt, and it didn't really change other than the way we do that, but it relates to compensated absences or your accrued leave. So those of you who are in your local governments, you have probably dealt with this already, but it basically changed the definition of what is considered a compensated absence. And then it slightly changed how you go about doing the computation. And so from that standpoint, we have gone back and we have adopted that accounting policy for this year. And it simplified some of the disclosures that are related to that. With regard, the communications also includes a section on estimates. There are estimates included in each of the audits. And some have more estimates than others, but all of them have the estimate for depreciation. And it's not necessarily the method of depreciation, but it's how long you have determined that the asset is going to last. So we've reviewed those types of estimates. And then included in some of the others, in UCDD, you have your allowance, and CAIC, you have your allowance for your uncollectible loans, for your loan portfolios. And then you also have, and in CRDC, you have your estimate for uncollectible rents. So this letter also details out the various estimates. And as from our audit standpoint, we obtain an understanding of each of those estimates, and we audit those to make sure that they are reasonable in relation to the financial statements as a whole. Also included in there would be any difficulties that we encounter during the audits, and it's just like every year. I mean, this is one of my favorite entities to present because we never have difficulties. Everything, Ginger and her staff are a pleasure to work with. They provide us what we ask for when we request it, and it's just a pleasure to work with them. It also talks about in here audit adjustments. Also, we do not have the books that you see are very clean. With the only audit adjustments that we make are related to either truing up depreciation for current year additions, or we do what's called the GASB 34 conversion, where we convert the internal books to the full accrual method of accounting. So what you see at your board meetings are a true, accurate reflection of each of the organization's sets of books. And there's some other items in there, but I'm not going to delve into those. From an audit standpoint, we issue multiple opinions, and all of them have an independent auditor's report over the financial statements. All 4 entities have a clean, unmodified opinion. Those are the best types of opinions that you can have. Then also on the other 4, on all 4, we issue another one which is called the Yellow Book Report. And it's basically requires us to report in accordance with government auditing standards. And this is one of the reports that would generate what you would call your findings. And I'm happy to report on those. We did not have any items that were reported as findings on the Yellow Book Report. And lastly, on 3 of the entities, the Development District, Human Resource Agency, and Cumberland Area Investment Corp., we do what's called a single audit. And this is because of your federal grants. If you spend over $750,000 in federal awards, we have to do what's called a single audit. And this is basically an audit of the grants that exceed the threshold as part of that audit. And it's also one that would generate any findings. And I'm happy to report that on those three entities, none of those had any types of findings either. So overall, everything was, I have no bad news to report, so.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so as from the standpoint, I think that you have the draft copies of UCDD and UCHRA included in their audit reports, but I think you also received electronic copies of all of the audits, I think about a week ago. Does anybody have any questions for Curtis as far as the financial statements? If they're not, thank you all, I hope everybody has a happy holidays.
You too.
All right, so we need to approve the audits, correct?
Motion to approve all four.
That's what I asked for, that's good.
Second.
Have a motion from Larry to approve items A through D, and a second from, Mayor Mitchell. So I have a second, motion and a second to approve A through D. Any questions or comments on these? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Those are approved. All right, item E is our legislatures of the year. There was a vote taken, and, Paul Bailey had the most votes for Senator of the Year, and Kelly Keeling for State Rep of the Year. I need a motion and a second to approve that.
So moved. Second.
A motion to Dale Reagan, second Steve Jones to approve the legislatures of the year vote. Any questions or discussions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Those are passed. 2026 UCHRA Governing Board, I would need a motion to approve that the board.
So moved.
I have a motion Stephen Bilbrey. Second Steve Jones. I have a motion second to approve the UCHRA Governing Board for the 25-26 year. Any questions or discussions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's approved. Item G, UCHRA Legacy Retirement Benefit Plans Resolution 2512-2. I'm going to turn this over to Director Carty to kind of walk us through this resolution.
Okay. Let me just start off to say, we have several employees that this affects in the room today, and I think Chairman Mason has indicated he's open to letting them have be able to say something about this. This goes back, I'm not sure, before Ginger and I took over, and at some point in the past, and I'm gonna try and give the high level overview, UCHRA added a benefit to where if an employee worked 20 continuous years, then they were entitled to, at retirement, to receive up to 6 months of paid, comp time, leave, well, not comp time, but leave that had been accumulated, sick leave, it was sick leave. And then also be eligible for the medical health insurance until age 65, so they become Medicare eligible. What then happened, as I understand it, the state come in, because basically what they were doing is they were charging these state and federal grants for cost that was not going to be incurred for 20 plus years down the road. So they were taking this money and putting it into a separate account, and according to accounting principles in the state's way they do the grants, because all grants are reimbursed for the year that they're applying for. You can't bill for future expenses. They came in and deemed that this was an allowable benefit, an allowable program, and it had to be stopped at that time. And as I understand it, like I said, Ginger and I wasn't here at the time, the board, understanding that you had this affected employee, did not want to try and hurt me on you, but they just took the money that had been accumulated at that time and set it aside in a separate account, and we've been paying out this benefit as employees retire and become eligible for this program. The problem that occurred, and I know everybody had great intentions at the time, but the problem that occurred is, at that time, there was not an actuarial study done to determine what the true cost of that program would be. And where we're standing at today is, correct me if I'm wrong, we're roughly $250,000 that's left in that account
But our exposure, if everybody were to follow through and retire and capitalize on their maximum benefit, our exposure is almost $1.4 million. Now, if you get your audit out and you flip back and you see, we don't have $1.4 million out of our reserve that can pay for that. So what we've been talking with this group of employees, and at the time it started out, I think 31 employees, I think we may be down just one. Since then, we started having this conversation, saying this really isn't sustainable the way it's designed, because we do not have that. They stopped collecting money from the grants, yet they'll still been trying to pay out the program. All good intentions, I have no, understand that. So what Ginger and I did, we had an actuarial study done by a professional actuarial that could then present to us what that cost is, and we started trying to figure out, how do you make this work? And, from our standpoint, we don't wanna just cut it off. Obviously, these employees have had this as a promise, and we wanna try and fulfill that if at all possible. So we had a couple conversations with them, and what we have proposed, and there's a resolution in here, what we have proposed to them is to offer a one-time buyout for $10,000. And if they take that $10,000, they'd have to elect to do that before June 30th of this fiscal year. Then they would take their name off that roll. They would get $10,000, and that would supplement their benefit, and they're done with it. And then whoever remains, what we have asked them to do is say, we will select one of the two options. You can either maintain your health insurance till you turn 65, so if you retired at 59, you get to stay on our insurance from 59 through 65. Or if you got 6 months of annual leave built up and you'd rather have a check for 6 months of your annual leave, you could pick that. That, by making those choices, is about the only way we can get it down to where we're still gonna take a hit. We're still gonna lose money out of our fund balance, but we think over time it will be spread out, that we'll be able to absorb that, and hopefully over time we'll continue to still try and grow our fund balance, and it won't put the agency at risk of any type of financial strain. Ginger, did I say that? Anything I need to correct on that?
No, you got it, you covered it all.
Okay. So, that's where we're at, and what we would like to propose is to offer a one-time buyout of $10,000, and then also ask the remaining employees, and I'm not asking them to do this right now, but what we would do is limit them to either the payout of sick leave or the health insurance. They can still have something, so everybody has something at the end of the day, and it remains in, they get something rather than it just running out of money and then we don't know what to do with it. So, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Hey, Mark, if they took the one-time buyout, but they wanted to continue to stay to work,
Oh, yeah, they don't have to quit.
they don't have to retire, they can just take the buyout and continue to work.
All that does, that buyout takes there is a list that we have been maintaining of the individuals that are eligible. We will take their name off that list. And then they'll just be working under the normal benefit policy of the agency.
How would that be, is that taxed?
Yes, it's income. But they're gonna be taxed on the other things as well, so. Now, we have offered to them, they could take that before, before December 31st, if they wanted to in this tax year, or if it makes sense for them to take it in the next tax year, we can work on that either way.
So the 31 employees, after, so this is going away after they,
And
when the
when they
new
are all,
person comes in, it's not gonna be under this program.
when the last one rolls off, that this program is no longer in effect. Nobody new coming on is eligible for it, and hasn't been since that was done, so.
When was this program ceased, do you remember?
It was,
I think it was around 2012.
it probably was right in that time where when Phyllis left, and it had to be right in that time when everything was being audited and they realized that this wasn't allowed. And I don't know how long it had been in place before that. Does any of our employees remember how long it had been before that, or was it brand new and just been?
This was offered when I went to work in 87.
Okay, so it's been in place there for some time.
And you said the employees general consensus, they're okay with this?
Well, I'm not saying they're okay with it. We have presented, obviously, I mean, their perspective, if you were in that shoes, I don't know everything, but, we were surprised, roughly, we polled them, and roughly half of that, we're down to 30 now, half of that 30, so roughly 15, because they still have quite a few years. I mean, some of them would be eligible till 2045. They said they'd rather have just the payout and be done with it, because they don't, there's no guarantee they'll be employed 10 years from now, or 20 years, whenever it becomes eligible, so.
Mark, what did the accumulated time, if they went with the accumulated time that they had to buy out, you talked about, what was the average, income, what would that be, what dollar figure on those?
If they had 6 months of accumulated time, they're gonna get half of their yearly salary, so whatever they're making.
They don't just get six, I mean, they've got accumulated 6 months.
Yes. Yeah.
If you've got 3 months, you get that.
I think y'all probably put a lot of work into this and time, and I'll make a motion that we.
Well, I was gonna say, is there any of the employees that wanna start before we do the motion? Anybody wanna speak before we do the motion, then we'll get into it?
Well, just one thing, I am an employee there. It was mentioned in our first meeting that 59 and a half didn't automatically qualify. If you got 30 years, then you got, that's still, if you got 30 years, then it don't matter how old you are, you still get, you can, like.
Yes, it's whatever the policy was in place. We have not changed that, whatever was the policy. All we're doing is just simply offering the buyout and the choice of one of the two.
I have a question, Mr. Farley. Will there be anything in writing saying that if this money was to run out, say in 10 years, that those of us that are left, because like you said, I'm one of those that may be here, 20 years from now, that we're still gonna at least have one of those elections, or is it gonna be when that money's gone, I'm gonna be retiring and there's not gonna be anything?
Well, that's what, I think what we're doing is essence saying that whatever's left, we're gonna take out of the fund balance. So we're gonna continue it on, but instead of it coming out of this separate account, it's gonna come out of our fund balance.
May I ask one more question, please? Our annual time or sick time, PTO, however you wanna refer to it now, if we decide to try to run that down, are we gonna be allowed to do that? So that we don't have, some people might have a year of time left, are we gonna be allowed to kind of run that down and not have, repercussions or anything for trying to run that time down?
I mean, that's your time. You earn that time. Now, we've had situations where somebody may want to take the last 6 months of employment off. Now, I think we would need to work with that situation, because we still need somebody covering the workload and stuff, but, the accumulated leave is your time, so.
Mr. Farmer, I just got a question. What about if something happens and we lost a program or something and we were laid off, that we fell under this?
I don't know how that was ever handled in the past. I don't know.
As long as I've been here, I don't think anybody's ever been laid off, have they?
Well, they have been, but not, I mean, it might be a program going away or something like that.
Mhm.
But, let's say Families First back in the day when we started.
There were several, okay.
Yeah, take the TA.
I would assume it was set up that way. I mean, you had to hit that milestone or you wouldn't have been eligible. I don't know.
So Mark, if they make the decision by, every employee that's under this right now, the 31, have to make a decision by, in 6 months, is what you said?
Well, the $10,000 payout would go off the table at June 30th.
So they'll have to make a decision, so that way, at least you have an idea of what's coming in the future, instead of right now, it's unknown.
Yeah, if roughly half of them, like they said, would want to do it, now that's their prerogative, I'm not saying they have to, but if 15 of them say, I want the $10,000 buyout, and then we look at what that would be remaining, we feel over time, we're gonna be able to absorb that out of our fund balance, we not have a problem.
But if every one of them decided today to take the $10,000, you'd have to do a fund balance draw.
It would get our fund balance, yes. But not, we got 250, we got 30 people, so.
You need another 50, 60,000.
Yeah.
Well, what's legal said about this?
Well, the benefit, and I'm gonna be honest, I understand the good intentions. The benefit should never have been continued on at the time when the state deemed it inappropriate. It was, you're doing it out of good graces. I don't know there's any legal issue. I mean, we're allowed to change our benefits as the board votes, so.
So when people hired on, was this more or less a promise that they hired on, this is what they'd be getting, or just?
When they hired on, it was part of the benefit package. We're trying to ensure the financial health of the agency, the survivability, and to try and make sure everybody gets something.
On the medical insurance, is there a copay that comes with this when you get into the retirement? Has that been discussed? Is there a premium?
Yes, so they are required to contribute as much as an active employee, which is 30% of that premium. With, they can get their free single coverage at the cheapest, tier that we have. We have, 4 tiers of coverage. We have like a premium, and then we have like a limited. But, typically they would have to be 30%. And if they chose a family coverage, they would have to do 30% of that as well.
The bad part of it is, people get close to retirement, and we have planned on this. I've been here 27 years, and that was part of the benefit. Now I'm getting close to retirement, and it's, one of them's going away. I mean, I understand the money part of it or whatever, but that's the human part.
I mean, I can understand if they wanna take the buyout, that's a choice they make. But then forcing them, like they've been told, if they was gonna get this, to make another choice, I don't know that I'm comfortable with that. If, you said you did a study, actuarial study. Did they do a version where 15 of them took the buyout?
No, we didn't, I mean, we just took the actuarial as it stands with the people involved.
That's if you paid it out, it as it is.
Now, this is, I mean, obviously, we're looking for solutions before we get to the end of the money that's in that account. You know, whatever you vote to do, that's what we will do. If you wanna vote to say we'll offer the one-time buyout at $10,000 and we'll push the other decisions down the road, you know, Ginger and I are probably not gonna think that's sound financial, but that's the choice sometimes you have to make is from your standpoint of looking out for the employees and the agency as a whole, and if that's the choice that you make, we're gonna administer that.
I think that's a good idea. I think you offer the ones that wants to buy out, that wants to choose to make that decision to come off that, and then go back and do another study after that to see what's gonna cost the ones you're making, personally.
On this benefit program, was any money withheld from paychecks or anything?
No, it was all withheld from grant.
They didn't put any money in
No.
to match or anything like
No
that?
employee money put into it.
Sorry, Mr. Farley, I had looked at the 2012 comptroller's report, and it said that 1% of payroll is where that came from, so was that being held out of, the report was saying 1% of payroll, did that mean it was held out of our checks?
No, it's 1% of the total payroll cost for all employees, it was not a deduction. That's how they had calculated it.
So January, are you making a motion to amend the resolution to that?
I don't know, just so everybody knows, my wife is in this, so I don't know that it's ethical for me to
Make that motion.
make that motion.
So you're making a motion to amend the resolution to give the option for a $10,000 payout and then do another extra study after that's done. I have a motion
Do you have a motion over here first?
I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
So, the motion is to amend the resolution to say, to give a one-time option for every employee, for 31 employees, a $10,000 payout. And then once that's said and done, then do another actuarial study to see what that benefits, that's gonna cost. And then come back and make another decision. Does that make sense, to everybody?
Who wants to take it?
Yeah, the ones that stay.
Maybe one, maybe 31.
Yeah, we don't know.
What, we don't have a second.
Yeah, I don't have a second, so, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, and so, I have a motion and a second, now, go your.
The question I was going, the remaining, let's say 15, I mean, what do you do then with those 15? Is that, I mean, I know it's a decision we're gonna have to make.
Right. Well, your decision is, do you, I mean, after that actuary, we'll see what that number is. But you're committing to say you're taking those funds out of our fund balance.
Do we have those funds to take out of our fund balance?
We don't have funds for all 30, no, but that's what you're going to do. The one saving grace is, it's not all at one time. You're taking that out as time goes on.
How's this program paid? Once they retired, did they just write them a one-time check, or was it over a 5-year period, or?
One-time check.
One-time check.
So, I'm 59, I retired, I have 6 more years of Medicare, you write me a check for it.
No,
Oh.
the payout of on
sick time.
the sick time, you got a check. On the other, you're still on our insurance, we pay that.
Okay.
But it's coming out of,
Is that what you're talking about?
On this program here, that, I guess some employees have taken advantage of, that we don't have anymore. How was it paid out?
So they got the one-time payout for their leave, and then some of them are still on the health insurance, and
Some
so
of them
we
still
just
on-
get billed that
Yeah,
monthly.
okay.
They pay us their portion, and then.
So that $250,000 is still paying the benefits of people that, so that's not $250,000, it's just money
Yeah.
there for, it's being took from, to pay insurance to people that are still in that.
Correct.
since June 30th, it's dropped roughly $50,000.
Yeah.
So
That's-
about 50,000
A quarter?
or,
Yeah, because we had, one retiree who had, employee spouse coverage, which is more expensive than just like an employee only. So
So-
that really kind of hit us hard. Now, we've had a couple roll off in the last few months that have hit the age of 65. But in the actuarial, they did take out everybody who's already 65 and above, because we know that they wouldn't, be eligible. But, the health insurance is the more expensive benefit.
So with the, is there enough money, if we didn't make a change today, didn't say, and nobody retired, but is there enough money to pay the insurance benefits till all those people are out?
No.
But there's a high possibility that the deal comes in later on. If we pass this now, the next deal might be worse than it is sitting looking at now, correct?
Could be, yeah, I mean, you're, I always say new decisions, new information causes new decisions.
healthcare costs and salary costs would affect it, yeah. Now, they built in some growth in the actuarial study, but if it exceeded that, so.
Yeah, if healthcare improvements, you know, they're talking about a jump next year anyways, if you see that number could get dwindled down real quick.
Yeah, they built in a 6% increase per year for health insurance, premium increases.
Mark, refresh our memory about, where those funds would come from when your fund balance can't handle it.
Well, I mean, obviously, we don't ever wanna run out of funds, but the agencies are owned by everybody around the table today, so just know that, we
Dues
are.
could go up.
Well, yes, but we've been down, we've been close to nothing in the past, we don't wanna get back there.
Okay, I have a motion to, and a second to, amend the resolution. Any other questions or discussions before we vote?
Would it be safe for us to table this and get better numbers, let maybe poll the people, or is that?
I think that's kind of what you're doing when you offer this.
Yeah, I don't know that you're gonna get any different numbers, Bill.
Cause you're not even, it's just their opinion at that time, right?
They're taking that, the number of people on that list, where they're at, and calculating what it's gonna be.
But in the motion to see who all takes a $10,000 buyout, and see where that new number is, and then we calculate those numbers?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes, that's the motion.
So if nobody takes it, we'll get back to square one.
I guess, yeah, that,
And then we have to make a decision on how we handle it. And as you said, it could be worse deal at that time. So that's, I mean, again, it's.
When we do it in Lafayette, we give you the $500 for their insurance. Until $165, it's a set figure out how much I was injured. 900 and something injured, but it's easy, but it's still 500. You set a figure, then you know where it was at. Help you. What's the benefit per employee?
Do what?
How much are you paying per employee, basically for insurance?
Ginger, how much for insurance on, what's the added insurance cost for employees?
For single coverage for the limited, our cheapest plan is like $687, and I think the premium is like $897.
That's seen.
Yes, that's just
They're
single
eligible for
coverage.
What is the organization's cost? What do we pay, 30, you say 30%?
We pay 70%, the employee pays 30%.
So, and that's across the board on all of those, or?
Yes, with the exception of the single limited, we pay 100% of that, just to make sure that we're always compliant with the Affordable Care Act.
Let me say, you know, offering the buyout, I'd be clear that that buyout was, they would need to tell us by the end of this year.
Yeah, we need
to know.
Before the next one.
I mean, if they wanted to, if you wanna offer the buyout, let us figure out how many that's gonna affect, how many that takes. We can do another study. I mean, it didn't take long for them to do our study. They've still got our numbers, they would just change who is still involved in the pool and the same thing. The rest of it would be the same. And we'd be able to come back in February with information on what it looks like.
So instead of changing the resolution with the motion, we could do that instead.
No, the way it's amended right now, we can do that, offer the buyout. They would need to tell us by December 31st, and then we'd have another study done, and in February come back, and you would know what the remaining amount cost would be.
And with that, I would, basically a cash flow of what that's gonna cost out 20 years or how long, yeah. Because that's something we need to know is what's it gonna look like in.
How much is it gonna play for fund balance?
Yeah, what's somebody's
How
gonna
long,
like in
yeah.
10 years if we do this.
What's the difference in Jimmy's motion and what you originally were planning on doing?
It forced them to, the remaining employees to make a choice between one
The
of the
original
two.
deal.
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy's motion is just to remove that option and you got one option. You either take the $10,000 or roll the dice that the same deal comes back. Or it stays, depending on whatever.
Cause you said if they didn't take the buyout, then what they could buy out their time, which would be half their salary, correct?
If they have that amount.
They have that amount.
Mr. Farmer, do you know out of that 15 that don't wanna take the buyout, maybe how many of us is looking at insurance?
That would be another thing, I would, is maybe get a true cost to see, are we looking at what the.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at that after the buyout.
That's a good point, cause
Yeah.
this resolution is saying choose one or the other, and if you went through and polled those people, and they all
There's
just.
3 options.
and-
That's what I'm saying, you have 3 options, but you're not tying, then we know, I agree with this, I will take this, and we know, we can come back and go, all right, this is what it's gonna cost. You can't change your mind if we change them, if something changes here, does that make sense?
Yeah, I wonder how many of those employees are needing 2 of the 3, or wanting 2 of the 3.
Well, there was 8 of them that said they didn't want to buy out, but they didn't want to make a choice. I just asked them what they thought they would want to do at this point in time.
So I guess the goal is, are you thinking that if we can get to a number where the option to keep both would be sustainable? That's what I'm trying to figure out, what's the end goal here to?
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
I don't think it will be, I mean,
That's-
honestly,
okay.
when you get the numbers, it may come back that way, I don't know, but my gut is.
And I don't think
it still won't be sustainable.
anybody sitting at this table wants to cut a benefit or
No,
take
not at
something
all.
away, but we're
But-
also charged with financial
There's not enough money to
long-term
fund it, yeah.
effective disorganization, which puts us in a really bad spot, but, I mean, that's our job.
I mean, I know Goodwill, we've had to change our benefits because, yeah, it just came to, health insurance, normally is the cause, is that
Yeah.
it's just too expensive, and so you gotta change that, and it's unfortunate, but.
It is. It is, absolutely is. Alright, any other questions, discussion on that motions or amendments to the motion?
So just to clarify, we're gonna take a poll to see who wants to take the 10,000, as well as.
They're going, no, they're not, they're going to elect.
Elect to take it, and then we're gonna poll to see who wants to do.
Then we're gonna do, then we're gonna do another study to see what that cost is, and then come back with another option for the remaining. Does that make sense?
But that remaining option coming back may be worse than what this option is.
That's a chance that you're taking, yes, because I mean, again, it goes back to, nobody wants to cut benefits, but we also have to look at the long term.
I kind of feel like we are here for some of the employees, whether they think they wanna do this option or not, or if they wanna just,
Pick.
if they wanna just, I mean, would anybody like to tell us what you want?
I don't wanna come back with the worst option.
Yeah, I don't mind saying that, I'm good with just picking one thing. Insurance is more important to me. I'm less than 2 years away to hitting 59. Less than 2 years. The insurance is very important to me. I'm good with picking one.
I'm in
And
favor of
there's
the
3 people in my office that wants to buy out.
You said there are people?
That wants to, that wants to get them out.
Yes, sir.
So if you take the buyout, does that mean like say you want to buy out, does that mean you have to wait till we get the other parts filled, like if they're the other, or you would get the buyout quicker and then the
No,
other?
you get the buyout.
You could get the buyout right now, yes, but then your name is off the list, and you're not entitled to the other thing.
The insurance renews. Take the buyout, you take the buyout, you don't get the insurance.
You don't get the insurance, you don't get the time, you don't get your 6 months paid out.
So the 250,000 is being depleted every month based on what's already been, so every month, it's gonna cost the development district,
Or HRA.
extra out of our out of the coffers to make up the difference, correct?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, when that $250,000 is depleted, then it will come out, and it's on HRA, it will come out of the fund balance for HRA.
okay, so it's, the 250,000 is there and it never moves, right? That-
No, it'll go away.
Yes, it's going to.
It's going down
It's
every
being
month.
depleted.
Okay,
At
that's
current
what I-
rate of $50,000 in 6 months, you're looking at, what, 2 years just gone.
Mhm, okay,
That's if we just stay doing what we're doing.
okay.
And healthcare premiums don't go up 1-6%. Alright? Any other questions or discussions on this? Amendment? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I am too one of the employees who are a part of this group. And I would just like to say, I still have, I think I'm in the 2045 category before I retire. So it's really hard for me to make a decision right now as to what I would wanna do. But I do appreciate the fact that you are offering the buyout, because I do have employees that I work with, staff people, friends at the agency who would prefer that, even though that they are at that time. So I just appreciate the consideration for the 10,000, but I also appreciate that you're going back, that it's on the table for you to consider that maybe, because, I understand the conversation about the coffers and wanting to make sure the fund balance, but we have a long time for some of us. And if there could be the opportunity for the agency to grow as we are, and it be in a better financial situation 5-10 years from now, as opposed to it not. So I do appreciate the conversation and consideration.
Yes, sir.
I also like to, I'm sorry, I'm Steve Lancaster, most everybody knows who I am. I kinda like to echo what Holly said, I'm 24 years of service, and this may be irrelevant or whatever, but day, night, weekends, I've done this, poured my heart out to it. At 61 years old, I never thought I'd be standing here and worried about making a decision. And based on my lifestyle and This was my prerogative. I'm 61. I started over. I have an 8-year-old. This plays a big factor into future, you know, whether it be mine or his. Just like I said, just like to make a statement, you know. It just means a lot. Like Holly said, I appreciate the thought. I appreciate the consideration. I appreciate the gestures. But coming from me, I just never thought that I would be in this position to stand here and even tell this. Thank you.
And I know speaking for the board, we appreciate every one of you employees and what you do every day for our organization, and what you do for our people and our citizens. I mean, the job that this HRA and this development district does is tremendous across this region, and it changes lives and helps lives every day, and we appreciate that. And this is not an easy decision or an easy for any of us. It's just, you know, we're charged as board members of this board to do what's right for the organization, and also try to make sure that it's what's right for the people, and that, boy, it makes it tough sometimes. Even, you know, most of all of us are mayors, and you have those decisions every day where you gotta look at, you know, we represent the taxpayers, but we also have to take care of our employees, and you can get in some really tough, hard decisions every day on that, and, nobody's taking this decision lightly or flippantly. I mean, and I'm glad we had, that was my concern, and I told several of you, make sure let's have a good discussion and make sure everybody's understood and you know, and before we vote on anything, because this is one of the hardest votes I've been here 7 years, one of the harder votes that we've been across, because it affects our people and what they do for us. I mean, because none of us are as good as unless the people that work with us do, so.
And we asked employees if they would rather, would you rather it be like the amendment, which is okay, or would you rather have the choice of the $10,000 or keep your insurance later on?
I think that's a good question.
That was original.
But just make sure that I understand this correctly. The original resolution, you got the $10,000 buyout, you got till July 30th, June 30th to decide. This is like the original. And then if you do not take it, then, you're going back to, you're choosing between payout or medical insurance. And then how long do you have to make that decision?
That's at retirement.
That's at retirement, so you don't have to make it before.
Okay, so they don't have to make that.
No.
Okay. So the only decision has to be made, so basically,
10,000.
so if you vote for the original resolution, their option is they take a $10,000 payout before June 30th, or at retirement, they have the option of either or. Where used to, they had both. So that's the change.
That's a change. And then the amended resolution says they got to the end of the year, December 31st.
To pick either the pay.
No, just to take the payout.
Just to take the payout, yes.
So basically, the amendment, all it does is move that timeline up.
Moves the timeline up, well, but it doesn't authorize them to.
Yeah, right. So I guess if the amendment needs to reflect either stay doing what we're currently doing, buyout, or the option.
So I'm kind of with Mayor Lowry. I think we did ask him, do you want? Which one?
Who would you rather have?
Well, at the end of the day, you're gonna pick what was original.
But just because they picked the buyout at 10,000, doesn't mean they're going home.
No, they're just gonna get a check for $10,000 and.
Okay.
But
Their benefits, yeah.
They're on the normal
They're just
benefits,
like
everybody else. TCRS and all that.
Just goes straight.
You're not, nobody's going home unless they afford to go home.
This is just one specific benefit that 31 people have there. Yeah.
Hey, Sheila and Holly and Steve, could y'all, I know you said you'd rather have the insurance. But it doesn't matter.
My theory is with then, you know, well, I'll have 30 years in August, so there's a 30-year rule. I could go out in August and not even be 59 and a half. My theory is that if we don't say we will pick from one of the two, when we get ready to retire, retire, that the next meeting, we may come back and they say, okay, we can only pay you for 6 months of leave. I don't bank up leave, I take my time off, but not as I accrue it, but you know, I don't have 6 months.
Sure.
Well, I mean, that's the way it is. I'm afraid that it'll be worse the next time we come to vote on it. I mean, if 150,000 is all we have left, after 15 people take the buyout, that's not gonna go very far. There's no way there's gonna be enough money left to give people those options.
No, we're saying when that 250 is gone, we're committing to take it out of the fund balance.
You're gonna pay one of the options out of,
Yeah.
whichever one they make.
Basically, this resolution says there's no more two. You don't get your time paid and your insurance, you get one of the two.
So the original benefit as it was, you got both of them.
Both.
Yeah.
And so now, we're having to decide if, whatever,
Right.
$10,000, or you gotta take one of them, and both of them.
That's right. That's right. But technically, we are back on the original motion and pull the
Almost
amendment.
seems like if the original motion would almost be
Better.
better than, because it gives people a long time to decide what they want.
Absolutely.
You got a motion on the second.
That's true. That's what, yes,
So
ma'am.
if we take the buyout, and taxes are deducted, how much are we taking from it?
Well,
You're gonna pay taxes regardless, so it just depends on your tax rate, your finances. There's no way we can calculate what that looks like.
Mr. Attorney, can we still like stay with the original one that just change the date of when these people have the choice, like at the end of this year? Cause most of them has known since we talked to us that when we had our training day, and they know whether or not they will get buyout. So just leave it, that all we're changing is just the date of when they decide, not till June of next year, but December of this year. Yeah, just get the
Alright, so, at this point in time then, we would need the second and the motion to be withdrawn and go back to the original resolution.
There's so much confusion, I'll withdraw my motion to John gets straight down, vote they approve.
You withdraw your second? Alright, so with the motion and second to amend has been withdrawn, we're back on the original resolution.
I'll make the.
We got a motion second yet?
Not on the original resolution, so.
Motion for the
Motion. I have a second on the original resolution. Attorney Day, I have a motion and a second on the original resolution as written. Mr. Bill?
So I guess if this passes the original resolution, we're not, if only 15 people take it, that means, well, the resolution passes, you get one of three choices. It's not gonna do another actuarial study.
Nope.
To see if, basically, okay.
Yeah, you got three choices. You either make the $10,000 by June 30th, or the other decision at retirement.
Which is different for everyone.
Correct.
And which I guess what they were hoping for by doing the other actuarial studies, that if 20 people took the 10,000, it'd be enough money that they might get by.
Right.
Yes.
I think that's what the intention of the board is.
Yes.
But I don't think that's.
Clear as mud.
Yes, ma'am.
Call for the question.
All question, alright. All question, alright. We will roll call this, please, Ms. Smith.
Craig Mitchell,
Yes.
Dale Reagan.
Yes.
Matt Adcock.
Yes.
Jimmy Johnson,
Yes?
Jim Morgan,
Yes.
Floyd Williams,
Pass.
Steve Jones,
Yes.
Tony Day,
Yes.
Lori Burdette,
Yes.
Stephen Bilbrey,
Yes.
Randy Porter,
Yes.
Lauren Wheaton,
Yes.
Jeff Mason,
Yes.
David Sullivan,
Yes.
Lisa Farmer, Ron Chastain,
Yes.
Denny Robinson,
I do have, so I got probably a conflict of interest, but putting that aside, voting what I think's right for the board, I vote aye.
Jerry Jeff,
Yes.
Report back and forward.
Alright. Item 8 is UCDD resolution 2512.2.
Okay. We've just got just a few things.
Yeah, you want things?
Alright, when we built this building back in 2019, right in that time frame, we still have the old development district office on Willow Avenue. Obviously, there's a lot of activity going on Willow. I've started having people express interest in purchasing that building, and I think we're at that time. What I'd like for you to do is give me the approval to have it appraised, and then to see what the marketable rate would be. Obviously, I'm not asking for vote to sell it, just to have it appraised and see what its value is, and see what the possibilities might lay if we were to sell that building. Ginger and I was thinking it might be enough to pay off our building we've got here, so it might do us a wash, so. That's what I'm asking for that right there, is to have that whole building appraised.
I have a motion to approve. Gary Mitchell, second. I have a motion and a second to approve, Director Frost to go in and do a appraisal of that building.
Okay.
All right, any questions or discussions on that?
If anything goes on over there now,
It's rented out.
just read it out.
How much rent are we getting a month, man?
It's, one of them we get,
We have a couple of, leases, and one is about $4,000 a month, and the other one's about, I think, $5,600.
You know, about $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Who's in there right now?
you have,
Independent opportunities, and you have Cedar River.
Yeah.
Cedar River.
and we also have, we've got we've got a project over there, we've got the Imagine Boundary, I don't know if you're familiar with that
Oh, yeah.
operation. We have been trying to give them seed.
In that space?
Through that space to get
Okay.
up and going, so
Okay.
they're in there too, but they're looking to move. Alright, the second resolution, we go.
We have not voted on that one yet. Any other questions, discussions on that motion? Or that resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, resolution approved, alright, next is,
Alright, this is on UCHRA. Obviously, our lease in our current facility, is ending December 30th of 2026. I would like for you to give me permission to enter into negotiations on where the next lease will be and to sign that lease. And we're looking at anywhere from a 5 to 10 year lease. But we're looking, we've got a couple different options we're looking at. We probably need to get moving before we come back in February, so I would like for you to give me the authority to enter into those negotiations and sign us for another, at least a 5 to 10 year lease.
At the same location?
No.
motion. Second. Motion Jerry Larry, second Dale Reagan. Therefore, you have a question?
So, you would go and do it, Mark, and we wouldn't have a clue where it's at, was after it's already done?
Well, here's what we're gonna get into. We're gonna have some renovations. I can give you a couple, we're looking at a couple options. Both are inside the city of Cookeville. We had one right outside the city of Cookeville, but we've had to rule it out. One would be a new construction is the problem. We've got to act, if you don't give me authority to do that, then we're probably gonna have to have a special call meeting the very first of January to get that wrapped up.
I'd rather do that. That's just my personal opinion. And that's nothing against you, Mark.
No, I understand.
It's just not knowing where it's gonna be, and then after the fact, it's too late, and I think we as the stewards of the UCHRA should be involved in that.
If I told you the two locations we're actively looking at, does that have any fun, or would you rather wait and see?
Could we do, maybe, this board authorize like the executive committee or something to get together and
Yeah,
still call the whole board?
Yeah,
Are you making a motion to amend the approval?
I'll do that, we give the authority to the executive committee to make the decision, or whatever, if it's okay.
Alright, so I have a motion to amend the resolution to move it to executive committee in January after you come with a plan.
Yeah.
Alright, Any questions?
So we have to back out ours?
No, we're doing
No, and add the amendment to it? Cause we got a motion on the table in a second.
I think the amendment changes the motion, doesn't it?
Yeah, the amendment changes the motion to approve the resolution with the changes of he's gonna bring back options to the executive committee in January. Is that?
Hey, you voted on the amendment, and then vote on.
Yeah, we're voting on the amendment. First is the amendment, we're gonna vote on the amendment, then we'll go back and vote on the amended resolution.
Gotcha.
Any other questions or discussions on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Alright, so now we're back to the original amended resolution.
Give them authority.
Give them authority to do it and bring back to the executive committee in sometime in January.
Gotcha.
So, alright, so we have a motion and a second on that. As amended, any questions or discussions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go. Alright, item number 8, the executive director report. Alright.
Speed up a little bit. Holly, if you will, she just said a few words, you've got a copy of the AG annual report, I wonder if you have a few words about it?
Yes, thank you so much. I know you all have had a long, difficult meeting already, and I'm very excited to share with you that I don't need approval of anything, that Mr. Farley's given me the next hour and a half to go over this with me. So, yeah. No, honestly, I could talk about this for an hour and a half, because we have so many great things that we accomplished in FY '25 that I would like to highlight, but for the sake of time and for you all, I definitely will not go through it like I would love to. And Doc Young is on our advisory board, and we had an advisory council meeting yesterday, and Doc Young sat through the presentation of this, so thank you for staying for this portion again, I appreciate that.
You got the choice of driving.
That's the truth of it right there. So yes, this is our FY '25 annual report for the Area Agency on Aging and Disability. For those of you that have not had the pleasure of meeting just yet, I see a couple of new faces here. I'm Pauline Henniger-Williams, and I'm the director of the Area Agency on Aging and Disability, which is the department here at the Development District. So each of you have a copy of this in front of you. If you don't mind to grab that, there's just a few things that I would like to highlight quickly, and I promise you I'll do this quickly. It will be hard, but I will do this quickly. So on the inside cover, this year marks the 50th anniversary of our network here in the state of Tennessee. So we had a celebration earlier this year just to celebrate the fact that it is our 50th anniversary. So the inside of the report shares a little bit of information about that, and then there's a picture of me and most of my counterparts across the state of Tennessee, as well as on the left-hand side of that picture, that is Lauren Legate, and she is the Assistant Commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging. That is a new department that was formed a year and a half ago that our department now falls under. So she is the Assistant Commissioner, and she actually is scheduled to be here at the April meeting to meet you all and share some exciting things going on at the new department. I am going to jump to page, I'm going to ask a lot of pages I had to talk about, but I just ask that you please take some time to look over this, and especially read some of the great success stories that are in here, because that really paints the picture of the impact that our services have on our clients across the region. There's some fantastic success stories from some of our staff, from some of our clients, from some of our senior centers that you all work closely with. But I'm going to jump to page 8. On pages 8 and 9, this highlights our in-home services program. This is a large portion of what we do in our department is qualify individuals for in-home services, and then we contract with other agencies that actually provide those services in the home for us. So at the top of page 8, this references options 1 and 2 programs, but this is a state, or these are state-funded programs that serve individuals age 18 and above who either have a physical disability or those age 60 and above who have limitations as far as performing daily tasks. Again, that one is a state-funded program, or those two are, I'm sorry. The difference between that and the program at the bottom, Title III, as we call that, that's an Older Americans Act program. This one only serves individuals age 60 and above. and this is one of the first in-home services programs that came into existence. And then if you flip over to the next page, oh, one thing I must note, I'm sorry, at the bottom of page 8, under Title 3, you'll see numbers for home delivered meals. Those numbers do not take into account the meals that we provided through ARPA funds that expired during that year. So that actually increases those number of meals that were served from 44,000 up to over 80,000 through that program during that year. If you'll look over on page 9 real quick, this is the family caregiver program. This is another in-home services program, but this one is specifically tailored for caregivers to provide them a break so that they can care for themselves while somebody else is caring for their loved one. Between all of these in-home services programs, there's 4 of them in total that we administer here. We served over 800 clients during the fiscal year, and those clients received over 150,000 units of services. The point of this is to provide support in the home so that they do not have to go to nursing homes prematurely. We realize there's a time and place that that's necessary, but we are here to support them in the home as long as they can be safely assisted in the home and not need that level of nursing home care. So, that's those programs. Now we will jump over to page, let's jump actually to page 18 real quick. No, I'm sorry, I cannot skip over congregate nutrition. Congregate nutrition is on page 15. We had another remarkable year with congregate meals. These are meals that are served at senior centers. We have 19 senior centers across the Upper Cumberland.
I went from 11, 17, 18.
15,
14.
We're on.
There are some others, yeah.
11, there's, if you go past that, Yeah, there we go, sorry. So, yes, on page 15, page 15, you'll see that we served over 2,800 individuals through meals at the senior centers. These are meals that do not cost them anything. If they're age 60 and above and they go to the center and they want a lunchtime meal, they can have that at no cost to them. And there were over 100,000 or 103,000 congregate meals. That was up 18,000 meals from the year before. So I will just say that in general, across all of our programs throughout this year, we have seen increases in the units of services that have been provided. From senior centers, we have over 1,000 more people going to the senior centers this year. I know many of you work very closely with those centers, and they've experienced tremendous growth. The participants going to those centers are participating in more activities. We have some great success stories in here related to that. One more thing I want to highlight before we get to the very end. So if you will flip to page 23, legal assistance and ombudsman. So legal assistance is the one program this year that we did not see an increase in services provided, and it's for very unfortunate reasons. Many of you know Marie Ferran, who was the executive director of Aging Services of the Upper Cumberland, who passed away. She also served on HRA's Policy Council. We contracted with Marie and her agency for over 40 years to provide legal assistance and ombudsman services for our agency. And like I said, unfortunately, she passed away. For that particular reason, the legal assistance numbers were down last year. We are now contracting with the Legal Aid Society of Middle Tennessee to provide that service for us. And then on the next page was ombudsman. That program did not really experience much of a decline because she had a different staff person that was handling that program. We did dedicate page 25 to Marie. I know that she's going to be recognized next week at the annual meeting as well, but we did dedicate this in here. She was just a tremendous person in every way, and so I encourage you to read that about Marie. And then lastly, we'll reference the last page, which is page 30. It's the finance recap. At the very bottom of page 30, you'll see that our internal and pass-through funds, so basically our budget for our department during that fiscal year was $6.6 million, just a little bit over that. That was up about $630,000 from the previous year. And then if you go back another year, that's 1.3 million more than 2 years ago. So we've been growing, moving in a great direction. Our new State Department is advocating for additional dollars from the state to improve our programs, because we know the population we're serving is going to continue to grow. So appreciate your time. I know you've had a long meeting. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions from Ms. Holly? Thank you. Great job, well done. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to item number 9, the nomination committee. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. No, my bad.
I'm gonna go quick, but I've got a few more things we need to put on the table right now. Oh, man. We've distributed a lot of information over the past 6 months, a year from the Sycamore Institute about housing. They have done incredible work on researching what's going on. They held a large statewide housing summit in Nashville back probably 3 or 4 months ago. It was an awesome event. They're wanting to do some regional meetings, so we actually have a call next week. They want us to host a regional housing summit, and this is designed for developers and codes, planning commission type, those type of people. So it'll be on the radar. We'll start advertising that soon, but that's coming up hopefully sometime in the spring. Want to announce that we're a part of the C-State grant for creating recovery-friendly employers. We're starting that process right now. And where's Megan? I had to hunt Megan choke down. Megan, talk a little bit about the field trip to Oak Ridge.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the governor's conference this year, there was a presentation about a lot of the nuclear energy and the things that are happening in Tennessee. I know some of you as communities have been talking to some of the companies that are doing work in our neighboring communities, and we've also been talking a lot with the University of Tennessee. And so anybody that's interested, we are going to start the process of planning a field trip day, a nuclear education field trip day. It's probably going to be a 2-part, go to the University of Tennessee, and then also do a visit at Oak Ridge, possibly see one of the sites where they're developing one of the test reactors. And so we are looking at February 27th. Hopefully it's far enough in advance that people will be able to work around that if you are interested. But if you are interested, please go ahead and feel free to email me or Mr. Farley. We are just in the beginning discussions of this, and we'll send out information, but we wanted to go ahead and put that date on your calendar.
Yeah, thank you. We did, back several years, I don't remember who in the room went on that trip. We got a tour to the Watts Bar, and that was, I'm gonna say, that's one of the coolest days I've had, so. I'm not sure if this will rival that, but we'll see, so. 3 more quick things. Our Washington DC trip will be coming up March 8th through the 11th, so you need to put that on your calendar. Hopefully Rebecca Smith will be getting with you, following up. If you're interested in going to DC, please see Rebecca or myself. The County Services Day on the Hill is February 23rd, and we have traditionally done a dinner, so for county mayors in the room, if you're interested in that, we will be reaching out about that shortly, but that is a date that's already set. Our city representatives, we have done this in the past on more the county side, tied to the County Services Day. TML's Day on the Hill is March 1st and 2nd. If y'all would like for us to arrange a dinner with the city mayor and our legislative delegation, we would love to do that as well. If that's something you're planning on attending, we'll follow up with you and try and see who's planning on being there, and we'll arrange that event for you as well. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Oh, you got it? Yeah, all right. So now we move on, right?
Yep.
All right, okay. Make sure. All right, item number 9 was the nomination committee report. The nomination committee consisted of Mayor Greg Mitchell of Cannon County, Mayor Steve Jones of Lane County, and myself, Mayor Jeff Mason. We met, and a motion came out of the nomination committee to leave the full, the slate of officers the same for the next year. That is where we're at, so that was the positive recommendation for the nomination committee report. Item 10 would be the election of those officers. At this time, I would take motions for a new set of officers or to take the suggestion of the nomination committee.
I make a motion, we accept the nomination committee.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the nomination of the committee report. Any questions or discussions on that? Thank you, I guess. That motion, but you won't get rid of it, that'll be done. Alan's not here, so. So any other questions, discussions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for your trust. All right, item number 11, our regional partners. I do think we have someone here from John Rose's office. Yes, stand, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Derek Lane, field representative for Congressman Rose, just started, and I haven't gotten around to meet all of you yet, but I should be taking care of that over the next few weeks. But I'm just, right now, just learning and looking forward to reading that annual report. Thank you for having me.
I don't think we have any other regional partners that we saw, so, okay. Is there any old business? Is there any new business?
I would remind everybody, next Wednesday is our annual meeting. Now you see why we didn't have the executive board before. Obviously, we have a lot of weighty things to discuss, and next, Wednesday's set to be a wonderful day. We're doing our regional awards, one for each county, and we look forward to it.
Any other new business? Well, thank y'all for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion adjourned. All those in favor?